So let me walk you through on what I did today, being the 18th of February 2025. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the first one, and it's the admin login page. So this is what I did here. I wanted a situation where I would start employing people again on Okecbot. If this was a startup professionally, I could have said Okecbot started and then we almost went bankrupt. It almost folded up. And then I had to step out to plan how I'm going to like get everything running. So, but before now, we had no admin dashboard. So we had customer support agents. They would show up at the office. They would try as much as possible to respond to customers and walk them through on how to use Okecbot. Should a customer make payment for a service, they would have to reach out to the supervisor to get them activated. The supervisor had access to the database, so they could easily get a customer activated. However, the employees were not able to do other things that a normal customer support are expected to do, such as being able to use a proper CRM where they can look up a customer, put logs of engagement. Let's assume a customer sends a message. The support is supposed to be able to log that in, put a note there. So should someone else chat with that same customer tomorrow, they can go through the previous log, see the other agents that have chatted with this person in the past, check out the orders this person have had. Like they should be able to look up the customer's detail. These were not possible before, right? So when customer support was on Okecbot, we just had people who would obviously be meeting every customer for the first time. There was no way to know a history of the customer aside scrolling up to the previous history. We also had the team that were in charge of traffic. They were not making proper reports. Everything was disorganized. So that's why I said if Okecbot was a startup, we could simply say it almost folded up due to lack of organization. So what I did today, the 18th of February 2025, was to create an admin dashboard. So this dashboard is meant to solve some of the problems we had initially. But before I go into describing what the dashboard would be doing, I would want to show you a summary of the teams that make up Okecbot. So Okecbot, as we all know, is a web automation software or brand. This brand has a software, which is the Okecbot software. With this software, you can create browsers, have the browser fingerprint maintained. So this is the same thing as having a Chrome on your computer, but unlike a normal Google Chrome, you could use, to open websites and do your normal searches. Okecbot still uses a special kind of Google Chrome that comes with it. But on that Okecbot, you can create hundreds of profiles, thousands of profiles. So this simply means, unlike when you as a human being would have so many browser profile, you would only be able to use one at a time. If you are to use multiple browsers, you can only use your mouse and keyboard at one browser at a time. Meanwhile, Okecbot could have 60, 70 browsers open at the same time. Each of them will have their own mouse and keyboard. They can type into search boxes. They could do normal things a human being would do. So it's more like on your computer, you can have your computer have so many Google Chrome at the same time performing so many tasks that you would have otherwise done. So this software is the major reason why we are able to make money from Google AdSense, because Google AdSense pays a website owner whenever somebody visits that website. So if you have a website, you have Google AdSense on it. Each time you have visitors that click on advertisements, that engage on anything, you get paid. So if you were to try to simulate lots of people coming to your website yourself manually, you would have to have a computer, you would have to create lots of Google profiles, you would have to battle with how to use different IP addresses, proxy servers, or how to change your IP for the different browsers. You would also not be able to be in so many places at the same time. Like if you're on one browser, you would have to leave that browser to go to some other browser. So it's difficult to do as a human being. However, Okecbot makes all the things easy because you can automate lots of browsers to use different IP addresses. They would perform different actions. They would scroll up, scroll down, they will move their mouse just the way a human being would do. So this software is a beautiful piece, but however, I am the founder of the software and it was difficult running the company. So we almost went bankrupt. We almost went in existence because when the product had kicked off, it was a beautiful product while I was active managing it. But when I had to go through other things, it almost went bankrupt. So because of this, I came up with a couple of teams. I think if these teams were actively going to be running Okecbot, we wouldn't just be afloat, we would be doing fantastically well. So I'm going to quickly go through the different teams and I'll talk about what makes each team what they are. So I'm going to start with the management team. The management team at Okecbot practically does the managerial activities. So this would include things like making sure everybody's doing what they should be doing. They will be the one to write the policies, SOPs. They will be the one to work hand to hand with the finance to plan their budget for advertisements, marketing, buy proxies, VPS, get developers, everything has to do with. Imagine I'm the founder of Okecbot, but instead of being the CEO of Okecbot, disturbing myself with how the company runs, I will just simply set up a team, which I have already done here from the structure, which is a management team. And this management team would have like a manager who would oversee, and then an assistant manager to help the manager run the activities of Okecbot. Followed by that is the automation deployment team. So the automation deployment team, like the name sounds, this team just focuses on deploying automation. Remember when I said Okecbot can practically simulate what a human being does on multiple browsers and have them run perfectly fine. I have a service I offer. This service has been a problem to keep up with. On this service, people get to pay me or the company, whichever, to help them get a couple of things on their website or YouTube channel. Let's assume you have a YouTube, you want to meet up with the 4,000 watch hours. For you to meet up with 4,000 watch hours, people need to watch your videos to a very great extent. Now, you don't use one IP, you have to use multiple IPs or multiple proxy server. You don't use one Google Chrome browser, you have to use multiple Google Chrome browser. So you see Okecbot is the best software to fit into this, as it has every single thing. Like it could create multiple browsers with multiple IPs and simulate interactions on YouTube. Now, however, when people engage me on this, because I'm a software developer and I also manage a couple of other businesses, I would sometimes not be able to deliver completely. And this has ruined the reputation of Okecbot, as most people might think the service is a scam if they pay for something and they don't get it immediately. So my solution is to set up, like you've seen here, an automation deployment team. This team will be in charge of two major things. The first one is to deploy automations on websites. Let's say you have an ADS or AdSense website. This team will be in charge of going through your statistics, going through your analytics, trying to understand what your previous traffic has been like so they don't get to do or to put you in harm's way. because if you get a website that has not seen certain kind of traffic or clicks before, and you try to automate those kind of huge traffic at once, that website could get banned or go into what we call an ads limit or suspension. So Okecbot's website automation specialist, this person will do the job I would have otherwise done, but they will do it better than me because this is where they would always put their attention to study the customer's previous statistics and try to make sure whatever automation they're deploying would also be beneficial and safe to them. We also have the social media automation specialist. Unlike the website specialist that focuses on automation on just a website, the social media automation specialist will focus on things like the YouTube watch hours, YouTube subscribers, Facebook, Instagram, practically any social media platform in future and present. The social media automation specialist will be in charge of creating different configurations, tasks, executables. They'll be in charge of monitoring all the accounts to make sure that every automation on the social media platform is undetected. Because they are making this a full-time job, we have a better guarantee that they will do a better job than me, as I'm usually occupied with lots of things and it's not been stable with me running it myself. We have the customer service team. This team is in charge of relating with customer. We have the support team that would support and walk you through. We have a product technical team. Should anybody want to use the Okecbot products to learn how to automate and simulate things, instead of watching videos on YouTube, if this person is a pro member, they could have a product technical specialist attend to them, give them a one-on-one lecture, and this will make things easier for them. Issues and resolution will come in whenever there are issues that require specific attention, maybe on an occasion of a dispute, on an occasion of account recovery, whatever kind of issues that a support representative cannot handle, and that has nothing to do with the person trying to learn how to use the software, the issues and resolution specialist will step in. I think one of the biggest problems with Okecbot is the fact that we don't really have, before now, a good customer service department. In the past, I've tried to employ people whom did not really have all it takes to work. And so in as much as they put in their best, lack of organization was a very big problem. And so right now I have gotten this figured out, as we're employing new set of employees to fill up the customer service team. We would have different specialists, the customer support representative who would specialize on supporting and teaching, the product technical specialist who will teach you how to use the Okecbot product properly, the issues and resolution that would help resolve whatever issues. Now, just like every team has a team lead. The automation team has a team lead that would report to the management, same as the customer service team. The rest of the team are quite self-explanatory. The product development team handles all the software development of the software, which is anything that has to do with creating the Okecbot software. They do both testing to test and make sure it is completely stable, so it doesn't crash on the end user's computer. We have the code and security team. They're the software developers who develop the Okecbot software. Initially, I developed it single-handedly, but I think it has come to an extent where I would no longer be building the product myself, as I intend to have other developers continue from where I handed over the mantle. We have the research and design team. Theirs is to interact with the customer, try to understand what people would love to see on the next version of Okecbot, so they can build a suitable Okecbot that people would have like a more user-friendly access to. because when I built the Okecbot, it was okay for me. But when I launched, as I kept launching different versions, it kept on being easy. The first version of Okecbot was very complex. I had lots of people just tell me they couldn't use it because there were a lot of things they couldn't figure out. As I kept proceeding with different versions, I got to know that it was becoming a bit easier for people as I would study what people would really want to see on that kind of bot automation tool. And then I tried to modify what I think I would have needed or what works for me and try to do what works for the general public. And so this will now be handled by the research and design development specialists. They'll be the one to develop and design a better version of Okecbot that everybody would be able to enjoy and use. The media marketing team, self-explanatory. We have the SEO and the social media marketing specialist. I presume it is very well explanatory. I would not want to start explaining them, so you already figured that out yourself. The IT support team practically would be the one to support the employees. They would show them how to use the tools we use. For instance, communication is through Google Chats. Some people do comment Slack. I've tried Slack before, but Slack is paid. So the way Slack works is when you create a team space on Slack, you get to pay for everybody, and that would have not been a problem. But since Google has Google Chats and Google Chats is free, we could hop into a Google meeting at any time. On Slack, you have to pay for that pro feature to use a huddle. That's what it's called on Slack. But on Google Chats, it's free. So we're going to be using Google Chats, but most people would not be familiar with most of the tools we use. Like we also use Google Drive, we use Slack, we use Jira for project management, and there are other things like they might need to be assigned access to, we might need to assign them access to the dashboard so they can perform the duties as they are being employed to. So that is what the IT support does. It gives them access to a dashboard, which I would show you any moment from now. It also gives them access to, it also teach them on how to use the tools that we use within Okecbot. Finally, it's the accounts and which is the finance and accounting team. This team they focus majorly on the finances within Okecbot. So they're primarily responsible for verifying payments, auditing the accounts, and anything else to do with the finances of Okecbot, whether it's to make money available for the marketing department to run sponsored ads, or whether it's to buy proxy servers and VPS. So the automation deployment team can actually do their job to deploy traffic to whoever has paid, whether it's to pay the employee's salary at the end of the month. So every single person who is on this system gets paid. This will be done by the accounting department in collaboration with the management. So I presume I've just explained what the new organization would look like, organization structure would look like on Okecbot. Now I would want to walk you through what I've been able to do. So today currently is the 18th of February 2025 and it's 9 p.m. over here. You can see this is Tuesday, 18th of February, and it's 9 p.m. over here. So what I've been able to do from the beginning of the day was to create a dashboard. This dashboard would contain like an email, and an employee would log in using their email and password. Upon logging in, the employee would be shown different teams they could go into and perform tasks. So an employee could be in more than one team. Say for instance, the person in charge of web automation, a web automation specialist could also be a product technical specialist. So this means if somebody comes in and they want to drive traffic, they want to do Google AdSense loading, they don't want to make mistake, they don't want to get their account banned. Nobody is in the best position to actually tell them how best this can be done, aside the person who practically does this full time, drives traffic to numerous websites. So practically the support team could schedule a meeting for anybody who wants to load their website with ads in it or their YouTube channel, whichever. So the person who is currently a product technical specialist here could also be on the automation deployment team. Now, I would try as much as possible to tell the management, because I wouldn't be the one managing Okecbot. I would only assume the position of a chairman at this point, and I will just make sure I get the right managers to move things from here. But I will make sure one person doesn't get to do so many things that would conflict them, as I will try to make sure I keep certain kind of regulations where people who handle certain descriptions will be able to perform to their utmost capacity. Because if one person does so much, sometimes there's a rule of diminishing return where the person starts underperforming because of the complexities of job titles whoever that person is upholding. Let's say somebody is both a web automation specialist and also the person is in charge of maybe issues and resolution, right? The person might not be able to do this back and front, trying to resolve issues with customers. So it's just best sometimes to have certain people handle different things. They could do other jobs, but there's some jobs you shouldn't mix together. So the manager would figure that out. So what did I do again today? I was able to create an admin login page. And this page is what you saw at the beginning. This is where the employees would log in. So by tomorrow, I'm supposed to do some other thing, which is to fully integrate the workflow for each team. Let's say, for instance, this marketing and media team. In marketing and media team, like you can see over here, we'll have the SEO specialist, the social media marketing specialists. So what would their normal day-to-day work be like? What would their dashboard look like? Because we're going to employ people to handle those positions. They're going to be doing this full time. They'll be the ones to make videos here on YouTube. I will no longer want to be making videos here, as most times people tend to misunderstand my presence. I'm passionate about the Okecbot. I built the software, but somehow I notice when I talk about how good it is or try to share the journey so far, I always have people who probably would message maybe when I was not available, and probably I did not properly deliver whatever service they paid for, come after me thinking they've been scammed, which I understand. I don't have anything against them. But I feel if the automation deployment team handles the deployment of automations, I would want a different marketing team to keep consistently making the outreach, while the customer support would also be there to support and the developers do their thing. So practically, I used to be the one in charge of everything here. And so this dashboard, when you log in, would show you part of the jobs I would be doing before to let you perform them from here. Most of what I said would not make perfect sense now, as it could have gotten confusing at one point in time. But by the 19th of February 2025, tomorrow, when I make a bit of an update, a progress on what I've done so far, then it would make perfect sense on the direction I'm heading to. So till next time, this is Dan Okek. See you on the 19th of February 2025, which is tomorrow. and I would walk you through on number 2, because number 1 has been completed, which is the admin login page.